Hey everybody, welcome back to another mandala tutorial. Today I'm going to be working on a 10-inch round. I got this wood at Hobby Lobby. It comes in packs of 3. And basically what I did is I just took the blank piece of wood and painted it black with the Folk Art Satin Finish Multi-Surface paint. I really suggest using satin finishes because it makes the top of the wood much smoother, and if you have a really smooth surface, then your paint is going to look a lot better. A lot of times with wood like this, there's going to be this feathering, and this is easy enough to get out. You're just going to take a super fine sander and buff this out. Once this is all buffed out, the wood is going to be really smooth and you won't have any of the paint feathering once it's on the wood. Next, I'm going to show you how to make our guide marks. So I'm going to take a charcoal pencil. You can use whatever you like. This is the one that I like. You can get it on Amazon. And then you're going to take a compass. Again, these are just the ones I like. If you find a compass or a pencil that you like, please use them. I get everything on Amazon, minus this ruler. I've had this since I was in high school. So then we're going to measure the diameter of the circle. Because this is a 10-inch round, I'm looking for 5 inches. And I'm going to measure the tip of the pencil to the base of the ruler, 5 inches across. Then I'm going to kind of make these little lines all around the piece of wood. Eventually this is going to make like a little circle in the middle, and then we'll be able to measure the center from there. Once you have a lot of lines in that center, you're just going to put the base of the ruler in that mark and double check to see that you're in the center. When you tap your pencil on the edge of the wood, it should hit the pencil all around the same spot. Once you have that, go ahead and push into the wood and make that center mark, and just like that, you have your center. Then we're going to take our stencil. Again, you can get all of these supplies on Amazon. I think Michael's is now using them in Hobby Lobby and everything. This is a 16-line stencil that I'm using. And so you'll just fill in all the spaces. Then just take a ruler and connect all the lines from top to bottom, completely covering the piece of wood. The second pair of guide marks that we're going to do are making our circular guide marks. And so for this, I'm just going to take my ruler out, go along one of the straight lines, and I'm going to mark every 1/4 inch all along the line. And then put your pencil back in and go ahead and just trace all of those guide marks. The beginning of mandalas is always tedious, but this is a really important step, especially if you're struggling to make things very symmetrical and very even. So take your time, make sure your grid looks really good, and then you'll have a really amazing product after. Once we're done with our guide marks, then we're going to move on to our paint palette. I highly recommend using any kind of paint tray. It just keeps the paint kind of nice and you can use it for later projects. All of the paints I'm using today are from Deco Art. I feel like they just have the best consistency and it saves me a lot of time. I'm going to start with Vivid Violet. Then we're going to use Royal Fuchsia, Melon, Warm Sunset, Tiger Lily, and Tuscan Red. go ahead and just pour them all into the trays one by one. The one thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add a little bit of the vivid violet to the red. I just want them to have a little bit of a blended color. Then I'm just going to add a drop of red to the tiger lily. Again, I just want to deepen these colors a little bit and make them a little bit more cohesive. And then I'm also going to put a drop of red into the vivid violet. So you just see my 2 little drops of red there, and I'm just going to blend it out. Now we're ready to paint. We have our color palette. It's this really nice like deserty sunset vibe, and I just have a couple more things that I'm gonna add to this. I'm gonna use metallics. I have berry and Venetian gold, and I'm just gonna use these as little embellishments throughout the painting. And then I have some puffy paint. I will normally always use puffy paint on the center. I just feel like I have a little bit more control over it. So I'm just gonna put like a big dollop in the center and then take the green flat tool and just push down until the gold completely reaches the circle in the middle. This is what I have found to be easiest, but if you like to just dip it in paint and dip it in the center, go for it. Skip this step. I personally like to give it a little bit of like a swirl in the middle. It just kind of adds dimension. And then we're going to start with our dots. So I'm going to start with the small side of the pink stylus tool. Now you can get these tools everywhere. You can get them on Amazon, Hobby Lobby, Michael's, Walmart. So you want to just get the smallest size out of all the tools. And for me, it's the small side of the pink tool. And we're just going to dot around. Then we're going to move on to the next color, and I'm going to use the same side of the pink tool. Now, a top tip for when you're making these center dots is to not push down all the way to the wood. You kind of want to hover and create the size of dot based on the look. In my experience, every time I've tried to push completely down and hit the wood, you get really inconsistent dots and it kind of messes up the center. So take your time and don't push all the way down, just kind of hover over it, let the paint fall, and then move on. You can always adjust the circles later, but this is the best way to have a better consistent shape. So now using that melon color, we're going to use the large end of the pink tool and we're going to dot in between. We want to get these as close to each other as possible, but we don't want them to touch each other. Then we're going to be taking the large end of the blue tool and repeating the same process. A lot of times what happens is that if you put a dot and you're looking to the next one and it doesn't look like it's going to fit properly or there's going to be a huge gap, I will sometimes skip that gap, place a dot, and then go back and fill it in. So sometimes skipping a space and coming back to it will give you a better fit. Then I'm going to use the same side of the blue tool, and I'm just gonna add more paint to it, and I'm gonna apply a little bit more pressure so that it fans out and looks a bit bigger. This tiger lily paint for some reason is a little bit more watery, so if you struggle with working with watery paints like I did, the two dots kind of float together, so I just took a Q-tip and wiped that off. If you're struggling with this, I suggest using like a medium that kind of gives it a little bit more volume and makes it a little bit more cohesive and less watery. And then for the final row of dots, I'm going to be taking the large end of the green tool and the same thing, just fit them in between the dots. I don't know why my camera changed, but we're gonna go ahead and go in with that berry color. I'm gonna take the flat purple tool and I'm just gonna skip every other line and just put a nice big dot. Then with the small side of the pink tool, I'm just gonna put a dot above the purple with that color melon, and then after the top dots are all on, I'm going to take the same side and I'm just going to tap and swoosh. We just want to circle the dot that's on there. Again, take your time, go slow, and make sure you have a good amount of paint on your tool. It's really going to help this flow a bit better. Then with the color Tiger Lily, I'm going to put 2 dots right above the pink dot and then just a small little dot above that. So you're kind of making a pyramid or like a triangle shape above the melon color. Then following the same process that we did before, you're just gonna tap and swoosh on either side. Go slow and make sure you have a lot of paint. Remember that this Tiger Lily color is a little bit watery, so you don't want to add too much because it's already got a good flow. Then we're going to take the small end of the green tool and we're going to go into that fuchsia color and we're going to put a nice big dot on top of our little triangles. And we want to have a little bit of space between the Tiger Lily dots and our fuchsia dots. Then we're going to start our brush strokes. I use the XDT brushes. Again, I found these on Amazon. They're very affordable, but you can use any brushes. You just want to make sure that they have a long tip. And so what I'm going to do is right on either sides of that fuchsia dot, I'm just going to push down and pull. As I'm doing my brush strokes, as I'm getting towards the end of my brush stroke, I just want to lift up. Don't force too much pressure onto the brush or your paint will go everywhere. So just let the brush kind of do the work. Initially, you're just going to push down at the beginning, and as you go through, lift your hand up, and that's going to give you a really nice brush stroke. If you are scared of brush strokes, you can practice on a piece of paper before, but brush strokes make the painting so nice. I'm going to take the Tuscan red color and I'm just going to fill in that space on either side of the pink petals. So we just want to push down, and as we want to finish our stroke, lift your hand up. Another top tip is to not hold your brush too close to the bristles. Come up a little bit and it's gonna make the brush flow a bit better. I'm gonna take the gold scribbles paint and I'm just gonna create some swooshes to connect everything. So we just want a big dot in the middle, and then you can use any tool. You want to take the smallest tip tool you have and just push and drag it down so that it creates this sort of teardrop shape. Then we're going to take the small end of the blue tool and that tiger lily color, and just where that gold dot doesn't meet, we're just going to add a few little like spikes, if you want to call it. So just push down and drag until there's no more paint on your tool and continue that around the circle. I have noticed if I don't know how to continue a pattern, just circle it out. Close the circle and then start a new pattern. We're then going to take the flat purple tool in that Tuscan red color and we're going to skip every other line. Then we're going to dip into that tiger lily color. We're going to take the large end of the pink stylus and just put a top dot over all of the red. And then repeating a similar shape that we did earlier, we're going to take the small end of the pink stylus and we're going to tap and swoosh, just creating a circle around the red. We're then going to tap into the warm sunset color, and this time we're just going to do walking the dots. So with the large end of the pink stylus tool, I'm going to put a large dot over the tiger lily color, and I'm just going to follow the silhouette and walk the dots all the way down. Then using the large end of the blue tool, I'm going to repeat that process. So we're going to put a large dot right on top of that melon color, and then we're just going to walk the dots down on either side. Then we're going to go in with royal fuchsia, and using the large end of the blue tool again, we're going to repeat the process. Then we're going to take the large end of the green tool, we're going to tap into that vivid violet and repeat the process. Then with the thinnest brush I have, I'm gonna dip into that Tuscan red color and we're gonna add some brush strokes. Now, we really just wanna follow the silhouette of the petals that we already have. Don't overcomplicate this. Another tip for brush strokes is to really go slow and take your time. You'll see that as I get to the end of the brush stroke, I'm lifting my hand up, and so that the paint stops when my hand is completely off the brush. Using the large end of the green tool, I'm going to tap into that tiger lily color, and I'm going to do one set of white dots right over the red brush strokes. I'm then going to dip into that berry color. Now this is a metallic-y color, and I just want to close that little gap that I see between the petals. These two petals are gonna touch each other because I didn't think out spacing through enough in this situation, but that's okay. The silhouette is what we really want to be concerned about. Just try your best and make it fit. We are more focused on what the mandala is going to look like as a whole than nitpicking over these little things. We're going to add some swooshes. I'm going to take that melon color, and I want to start one or two guide marks above where the purple ends. So we want to add like a little bit of a height dimension here. And I'm just doing a similar process. For this one, I'm going to tap and just drag down, and I'm going to leave all the pressure on until I run out of paint. I'm going to dip into the warm sunset color, and I'm just going to add some dots around. I want to create a more dramatic tear shape. So following the silhouette of the teardrop, I'm going to dip into that tiger lily color, and we're going to start making a feathered petal. So just to kind of make everything a little bit more cohesive, I want to make like a little sparkle shape with the Venetian gold. And so I'm going to put a big dot. I'm going to take a small stylus tool, and I'm just going to drag it down until it meets the center of the tiger lily color. So it's going to create like another little teardrop kind of sparkle shape right above. Then with the Tuscan red color, I'm going to start on either sides of that sparkle shape that we made. And again, following the silhouette, we're going to just push and drag all the way down until it creates another teardrop shape. Using the same brush, I'm going to dip into Vivid Violet, and we're going to go down a guide mark and then push and pull, repeating the same pattern, following the same silhouette. So then dropping down guide mark and dipping into that royal fuchsia, I'm still using the same size brush. We're just gonna kind of start to open our petals a bit more. Using the same brush, we're going to tap into that melon color and we're going to repeat the process. As you can see here, we're getting pretty close to where the petals should meet. And so once we're finished with this color, we're going to try and connect those petals. The last brush stroke I'm going to do here is I'm going to take that Venetian gold color. I'm actually going to go up a guide mark and push and pull, and this is going to connect our petals. We just want to create a very large contrast between the two sets of petals that we made. For some reason I didn't film it, but you're going to take that berry color and you're going to create the swooshes that we did in the center. Then I'm going to dip into that tiger lily color, and this is going to round everything out and sort of finish the shape of our mandala. I'm going to go from the inner corner and swoop over. We just want to create a round shape, and we want to make sure that most of the black of the board is covered. We're going to start our embellishments now, and I'm going to take that Venetian gold, and right where our center dots are, I'm just going to do some micro dots in between that connects the center dots and separates them from the petals that we made. With my gold puffy paint, I'm just going to put some big circles on the red walking the dot petals, just to kind of make everything pop and to add a little bit more gold. The next step is I'm going to take that melon color, and this pink part to me just wasn't really vibing really well, and so I'm just going to highlight it and I'm going to make it a little bit more cohesive. And so I'm just going to take my brush and very lightly, very gently, I'm just going to add a highlight to the first sets of petals that we did. I'm just going to add some gold dots in the negative space, just making sure everything is covered. And this is our final product. Thank you guys so much for painting with me. I hope to see you soon. Have a wonderful day.